Well, we got us a really big Road Warrior. This thing is a monster. It's like 44 feet or something. It is huge. So overall, the roof in itself is fine. One of the reasons he brought it in is because it snagged a tree branch. So that's not a vent. So when the salesperson tells you that's a vent, they're lying. What that is an access. If you want to run wires, for instance, through here, you'd have a place to reach down and probably fish them through. But it's not a vent at all. It doesn't vent. In order for it to vent, it would have to have something lower to draft up, and it doesn't. So much like on your house, you'll have a ridge vent way at the peak. Then down the bottom where the gutter is, up underneath on the soffit, you'll have ventilation there, and basically that's how it works. So, but a little bit of stitching right here. Overall, it looks pretty good. I can't remember what year this one is. Slow down, maybe I'm walking too fast. Trying to work on my camera skills. Everything else looks pretty good. I can't see anything. So he snagged it right here, and I think he snagged it on the other side. So the next step we have to do is we're going to wrap everything, you know, protect the coach. That's what we do. So we're going to get that done. So he snagged it there. I think there's another one right here. Get it in the camera. I know where I'm at. I think right there. I'll walk around the other way. Like I said, we got this thing in here, and now we're just staging it up. That's what we call it, staging it up. Getting it ready to do some work. A lot of times what we see is the actual membrane is fine. So when they give you a warranty and they say, and this is with all roofing, they give you a warranty, say this is, I don't know, 10 years, 12 years, whatever it is. When they give you that warranty, that means the material isn't going to fail. The material, period. That doesn't mean all of the, you know, if you install something, make all these cuts in the roofing, well, they're not responsible for that. So when they say they're giving you this warranty, that's not the company, whoever brand it is, because they don't know the craftsman who's doing it, and the sealants and so forth, and all that plays a factor. So that being said, like, you know, all the protrusions coming through, that's where you're generally going to find a leak, you know, around your vents, that's supposed to be an antenna that's broke off. But areas like that are where you're going to find your leaks coming in, unless something gouged the roof. So that's how they do the warranty on all of those. Even the stuff that we use is the same way. It's the same warranty. But what we do is have folks come back here and we do the inspections. And when we do the inspections, then we see what's going on. And if we see an issue with the material, then we get with the manufacturer. If we see an issue that something wasn't either installed right, or, you know, the process wasn't done right, and obviously we're going to fix it. And that's why we like to see it. Our initial inspection, we like to see 30 days after. When you put down a commercial roof, that is just a standard. You put the roof down, you go back and inspect it in about 30 days, take a look at it, make sure everything's okay, and then you do annual inspections. That's the way all standard, you know, commercial applications go. So where's that patch? Oh, there it is. So he's got a hole like right there. See the camera picking that up. And then, or a patch there. We had another one down here somewhere. I think there was one there that we took off. So otherwise, I mean, the rest of the roof is okay. The shoulders seem okay, so I'm hoping to salvage that. Hopefully we can salvage the skylight lens if we can. I mean, we'll obviously put it back on, but sometimes these things would get brittle, and when you try to encourage them to come off, they'll just crack. So we'll get a couple little scuffs and scratches up on the awning here. So then again, we're going to wrap all this because we don't want to get anything adhesive or anything else on the awning. So, but it is a real pretty coach. Got some awesome colors. We're going to put a gray roof on here. We're not going to put the white. Gray will look really good. So, all right. Well, let us get to work. I'm going to show you what we got up underneath this big old Road Warrior. Well, we have got all the roofing off of our big, huge Road Warrior, and you see all this. We protect the coach. everything gets protected. Everything's all protected all the way down the side. So I had to take the awning off. Now we're going to take the shoulder off, but the decking itself it looks okay, but the reason we're going to pull it up is because we want to check the trunk lines, electrical, and things underneath this. So we want to make sure we don't have any future problems. That's why we tear it up. And then we're also going to glue it down because chances are it's not glued down. So, but here's what we got. Like I said, it looks pretty well.
Yo.
You know, I'm videoing. No one wants to hear you.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, pipe down over there. Try to get in on my props over here. Hey, whiz. So, you can see, that doesn't have too much holding it down. Doesn't take a lot to pull it off. They typically use just one side, they glue one side, and they roll the roof down. The product that we use, the TPO, the commercial grade, you have to do both sides of this contact cement. It's a lot stronger. So, it'll stay down much better. So, like I said, we want to check. That doesn't look like it was put together too bad. That's a good tape job for the AC. But again, we want to check the trunk lines to make sure everything is all set on this thing before we just put it together and check all the wires and just stuff like that. That's what we normally do. So right now we're going to try and take these shoulders off. We want to salvage them and put them back on. Let's take a look at our Road Warrior. So we took obviously all the sheathing off. You can see that. And then what we're doing is going around checking all of the trunk lines. We want to make sure they're all set. And we're also looking for wires that may be an issue. We still got to vacuum it. They just got all this done. And they did put a little bit of glue on here. It wasn't the whole stretch, but they put a little bit here, a little bit there, you know, and they screwed it down. So the problem that you may have when you start throwing too many screws in, though, is you get these splits right here, okay? And then you don't want these things to split up. This is just real soft, you know, this is spruce. So you start putting screws in, it's just gonna split. It's light wood. That's why you should be using staples and glue it down. So some people have had arguments with me in regards or maybe differences of opinion. And one of those people would be Grand Design, who thinks that you don't need to glue them down because you stifle the movement of the coach. They want it to move, from what they've told me. But when a coach moves and flexes, all that energy's got to go somewhere. Where's it going to go to? The fasteners. And when it goes to the fasteners will loosen up. When the fasteners loosen up, the caulking loosens up. And now you got a dog chasing its tail. So it needs to be glued down, and it needs to be glued down with a flexible adhesive so it can move, but add some strength to it and keep it in place. So you only want it to have a marginable amount of shift. So like I said, that's what we're doing now. We're going to check all our 120 lines, make sure everything's, sometimes you'll have ferrules in there. I can't see them over here. Maybe I can see them from the other side. I'll go check. But I'm just giving you kind of an overview of where we're at. Again, we're going to vacuum all this. I'm not going to put all that back in there. That's, you know, like that. We've opened some roofs up that were really bad. Find tools. We found extra parts, pieces. So let's see if I can show you what I'm looking for. It's over here. That's what's good about having a scaffold. You can work real easy all the way around the whole entire coach. So this one here, they've got all their lines gone through there. That's awesome. So the even those over there, they just go into that outlet. So sometimes they'll go into what's called a ferrule, and you can watch a couple other videos, and they'll go through a ferrule, which is like a piece of pipe. And when they send it down the piece of pipe that's in the wall, they drill a hole, put that ferrule in there, that piece of pipe. So this way, when you go to put the gutter on, you're not going to put a screw through the wire, which makes a lot of sense. But the inside of those little ferrules are sharp. And as the coach moves and flexes and the wire is kind of just doing this, it starts to get chafed, and then the insulation gets chafed. So we check for all that. I want to make sure that, you know, everything's all set before we just simply go, yeah, and assume it is. And again, we'll check all these trunk lines. I want to make sure they're all nice and tight. And then one of the other things that we did, you can see like right here, see how the wire comes up and over? The wire comes up and over, the wire comes up and over. We put some aluminum plate on there. That's just styrofoam. So what happens is when this wire keeps going and getting, you know, jockeyed back and forth, it will actually cut a groove in that there. So we put the tape on it, but up underneath there, we did glue it down. There's glue underneath there, but we just didn't want it to, the weight of the wire, you know, as a working to kind of make it fall out of place. So we just put some tape on there to hold it. And here's another one that's pretty good. I like that. I'll go with that. You know, we just don't want anything compromised. And then this is a ductwork that we just made right here. There's a skylight right here. So what's going to happen is I don't know which side I'm going to put it on. Maybe this side. This is going to be for the fan, and it'll go in like this, like that, and then you'll have your top lens here. You'll have your inner lens right here, and here's the draw. So I don't know if I'm going to reverse them. More than likely I will, if I can fit them. Depends on, and it may fit right here, the way it is. But then the air, when this solar fan, this will be a solar fan, when it kicks on, it'll draw the air from here, go up over in between the two lenses, the inner lens, the outer lens. It'll go in between those, and then exhaust out, and that'll keep any condensation from building up. So we get all that, and then like I said, we're just checking all the taping. So otherwise, we're going to get going. We're going to clean this up, get some decking on it. We're going to glue the decking down. We're going to staple the decking down. And then once we get all that done, the roof goes on, and we start putting her together. Quiet on the set. Big production going on. All right, we have got most of this down. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, on our 5th one. And we are loading her up with some glue. And then we staple her down. So what we do when we do this, we glue down here, and then we glue here too. So we're bonding these two pieces together and also getting it to bond down. That's just the way we roll here. You're gonna do it right, dagnabbit. I'll tell you what. So that's what we're doing. Hey, don't waste that glue. That's high dollar stuff. You got a little on there, you don't need that. Look at that, gee whiz. All right, so that's us so far. We have got driver's side. That's already done, rolled, glued, got all the shoulders back on. Everything's done there. And then I meant to get the camera out here and video all of this. And then I had those wires down there. So I had to get those wires, poke through. I can't do all that at once with the camera. But we got all that done here too. So we got the plywood to sit so tight on this, we didn't even need to put the little strips in there. And that's why I usually put them in, is because sometimes the trusses from the factory, when we go to put them in, they're just all warped and they just don't sit right. So that's why I usually put them in there. But we've got it all fastened down. Everything's all done. You can see all the glue we got on here. Stapled it all down. We already did all the HVAC and the wires and everything else. So now we're just going to roll this out, start cutting out curbs, and let's get this thing together. Well, we are done with our Road Warrior. Ready to go. We got our stamp up here. We put this on. Out there. We put that on so we can monitor it, you know, when it comes back for inspections. And also if the customer decides to sell the coach, you can always explain to the new prospective owner, hey, we just had the roof put on. So the roof itself is a 60 mil roof. That's how thick it is. It's a commercial grade. This is a Carlisle brand. And this one we wanted to put on gray. I know we pulled off white. But you can see we've got some nice stands in the back right here. It gives the air conditioner some balance. Everything is all heat welded. He needs to get some covers on these. I'd like to see him put them on the vents. Those ones there. I don't have anything in stock for it to put on there. But anyhow, I'd recommend them putting on there. He didn't have any, but it's always a good idea. I've seen some of those wiggle loose, you know, just from the air, the wind going over. They're not closed tight. So that's just a good good recommendation right there. So getting back to the roof, it's a 60 mil commercial grade TPO. This is TPO. TPO stands for thermal plastic olefin. Everything all heat welds together. All your curbs are all heat welded. Everything's all heat welded down there. So even the boots for these ladders, all this is all heat welded. Got a pourable sealer in there. And that pourable sealer, it will always stay flexible. This one won't move like some of the other ones, obviously because it's got 4 stands on it. But some of the other ones that just come up and hook over, they'll wiggle around pretty good. So even that being the case, these will not loosen up and they won't leak because they're all poured in there. You know, you've got a big mound there. So the way you wash this roof, you're just going to get some soapy water. You can get up here with a pressure wash if you want, but it's real simple to wash. Or you can bring it to a truck wash. So get up there and wash that roof. And it's as easy as it is. So it doesn't matter the color, the white, the gray, and the tan that we offer. Those all have the same R value to them. On your insert, we replaced the insert trim here, and you also put 2 strikes. You got 2 strikes of caulking all the way across. So when you go with a caulking gun, if you've ever operated a caulking gun and you're starting to squeeze the tube, you'll hear it crackle. And when it crackles, you just probably injected an air bubble. So we always go over it twice, because if there is just one strike on there, and then the coach racks, twists, flexes that air bubble, if it pops or breaks, breaches, then you got a leak. So you're better off having another strike over it. What are the chances of having one air bubble over another one? You know, be slim to none. So even the plumbing, that's all heat welded in there. Again, we got the same thing with the air conditioner. We got the stands in the back. And then in the front, what we do is we put this other piece up underneath the cover. That's another piece of counter flash. So the purpose of that is on my curves, I build in this counter flash. So when the water comes around in the rain, as it just pouring across here in a storm, as it's pouring across, it's going to want to try to breach up. It can't. It gets diverted around. So we just give it another path. That's all we're doing. Give it another path. So that being said, there's counter flash on all the curves that are designed, but this piece of counter flash, the black that's under the cover, goes over this one. That has the same thing. You just can't see it because it's up underneath the air conditioner. But that, so now the rainwater will come down. Up underneath here is a foam gasket on the air conditioner. We replaced all three of them actually, and those are wore out. Those are flattened down. If you don't have that there, just the water coming down as the wind is blowing would push it all the way back into that gasket, and I don't want to have any water getting in there if I can prevent it. So again, put this on here to redirect the water around. It gets below this other counter flash on here and just shoots out. So we get all that, got the antenna back on. I'm going to probably go around the other way, and a dirty shop. So you can see the same thing. We did the radio antenna right here. Another curb all heat welded in there. This is a solar fan. So a lot of times you'll have, so you got this lens here, and then you got another lens on the inside. And so what's going to happen is when the frost sits on here and the sun comes up, it's going to start to just cause it to condensate. But the whole shell of it's cold initially. Then when it warms up, it's still warm on the inside. When that warms up, it's going to condensate down as well. And you can get water that'll just look like a leak, but it's really not a leak. That's what it is. It's just condensation that's rolling. Here, pull this back, rolling down from the inside of the lens. So when the sun comes up and heats this and evaporates it off, there's nothing to evaporate inside that cavity. So this is the solar fan. So that's the draw, and this is the fan. So when the sun comes up, obviously there's your photocell. That'll start actuating, and when it actuates, it'll just keep the air flowing all the way through to dry out that, so you don't have those leaks. So that's what that's all about. So we're all set. We're ready to go. We appreciate the customer bringing this coach to us. Actually, this is this customer. We did another one on. It's on our channel. It's a big Raptor, and I think we did a repair on that Raptor because he does motocross with these, and he got rid of that Raptor. But the title of that video is One Badass Roof or something like that, because he had really dragged it and it didn't even tear the roof out. So he got rid of that and he bought this, and then obviously he said need to put a roof on it. So he is a returning customer, I'll put it that way. So again, we want to thank him for it. Other than that, we're all set. Keep in mind, these aren't DIY videos. These, there's a lot going on with these videos, with the work, and I just couldn't video all of that. That'd be hard for me to do. So we don't want anybody to go ahead and start doing something and then, it doesn't work out the way they want. You say, well, that's the way I saw it on the video. There's a lot of steps that we do that we don't show. So I just don't have time to do it all. But this is, or forget this. This is the insert trim that we use right here. And if you look at it, see if I can get it focused. It's got a little groove on the side. See it? That sits inside the track. And then this is the stuff they use. It just slides back and forth. So what happens is when you have the water sitting on there, when you have the water coming down, it can get down inside this track and it could still run along. With this, it locks inside and outside, so it keeps the water out. We don't sell anything here either. Keep that in mind. We don't sell anything. We also don't quote on social media. So if you're interested in some pricing, just give us a call. There should be a card good dropping everything, trying to put that back. Should be a card up there. So just give us a buzz and we'll go over all your concerns with your type of coach. And obviously, if this is your first one that you've watched of ours, we've got a couple of hundred videos up here. So we do a lot more than just roof systems. We do rebuilds, we do back walls, we do bunks, we do a lot. So we just don't get into doing like, we have done some minor painting to fix it, but we're not really a paint shop. We're not, we don't do brakes, we don't do engines, we don't do that thing. So, but anyhow, here's the roofing right here. And I get this big piece to flip it over for me. Come on. There we go. Alright. So you can see all those little squares in there. That's the reinforcement. And you can see some of it right here on the edge. That's the reinforcement, and it helps to resist against hail and tree branches. Really tough product to tear into, for sure. It's hard to even cut. So that's the 60 mil. That's your commercial roof right there. It's the same exact material you're going to find on a hotel, office building, library. Same exact product. I purchased it at a supply house. Alrighty. Well, we appreciate y'all watching. We'll see you on the next one.
Right. So in our care package, we have caulking. We got primer. We have got 2 patches. Those are heat patches. We got a patch, peel and stick patch. We got a checker tool. We've got a magnet. And the rest of this is just pens, keychains, brush, nozzle. Okay, so if we have a hole in the roof, it will simulate a hole. You can do hole simulations. We say we got a hole there. Here's your tree branch come through and you're like, oh man, I got a hole in my roof, it's leaking. So what you want to do, and it's raining out. Right now it's raining, you're like, crap, I gotta stop that leak. You want to get in there, and if you can't get that nozzle in there, don't worry about it. Make it a little bigger. What you're trying to do, you need to get up underneath the roofing, like this. This is what we need to do, get up underneath the roofing. Then you're going to take and you're going to put this up inside there, and you're going to squeeze, 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 squeeze. Hopefully this thing is plugged up. There it goes. Just squeeze, squeeze. You want to try and get up underneath this part too. Squeeze up underneath there. Get some more underneath there. Well, we are getting this thing all boogered up. Then what we're going to do, you're going to push it together. See how it oozes out? That's sealed. You're done. This is a moisture cured product. So what? It's a hot mess. Looks terrible. Who cares? Keep the water out. So now, the next day, we're going to go up there, and that's going to be cured looking like that. So we're going to take a knife, and you just shave it down. Just shave it down with a knife. I'm just going to obviously wipe this off. Now you say, hey, I want something a little better than that. So what we're going to do is get some cleaner. This is a terrible rag. You got another one. You got one on you? Oh, get a rag, get a rag, get a rag, get a rag, get a rag. What you gonna talk about, man? Nope, just leave it alone. Oh, leave it alone right now. We're recording now? Are we on?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Alright, so now we cleaned it off with a knife. I just washed that off because it's still wet. Take that off. So now we got a patch. This is a peel and stick patch. We're going to take that, we're going to center it over there. Just take a pen and go around like this. I like to kind of put a dash like that so I know who's where, what, and where, and how. So now there's what I got. So in the package we got primer. We also have a brush. You're going to take that, you're going to go all inside the square. You're also going to go outside this square about 3/8 of an inch. Outside about 3/8 of an inch or so. Once you get that, there's a film on the back. You peel the film, now you know which side you are, see, because there's your marks. And you peel that film back. Get the fat fingers in there to get the film off of this thing. This is just a regular roof tape, that's all it is. We put them in all the care packages. Get that daggone thing off of there. Probably need some fingernails. Probably help. Come on. There it is. Okay. Oop, hit, there it is. Now you got the film. We'll take that film. So now we're going to line it back up with this. We already got the primer under there. You just peel the film back, and as you do, you just rub it down like this. Sometimes that film will get a little stuck in there. This is just a butyl. You just kind of try to keep it as even as you can and flat as you can. Boom, you're done. There it is. So now, out here, this is where your primer is. You put the primer on there. You got primer there, and now you're going to put primer here. You want to prime all this area with your brush. Prime all that. Then you're going to come back, once you get it all primed, and you're going to put a little bit of caulking on it, just like this. That's simple. If it doesn't all sit in there, you can always take your finger and go around it if you want. We're trying to obviously stop a leak and make one of. There's going to be a little more permanent of a patch than just that plug that we did when it was raining. So now that we get that all done, the whole purpose of it is this part here. This part underneath here, that's a butyl. When the sun hits that, if you didn't have the caulking on there, it will cause it to release and curl up just like I'm doing here. And it'll start coming loose. That's why you need the primer. That's why when you prime it, you're going to prime on top of this because nothing will stick to it. Nothing, the caulking will not stick to this patch and it won't stick to the roof unless you use the primer. That's how you do a patch. Ta-da! All done.